The outdoors. An amazing part of our lives is a chance for us to get outdoors with our friends and family, exploring beautiful scenic hikes alongside the mountains, climbing a mountain, enjoying that long walk along the coast, exploring caves, the deep forest. Nature has its own way to make everyone happy in nearly every situation. It's a great time in everyone's life to get out and be one with nature and spend some time away from our busy lives. However, this isn't the case for everyone, despite how beautiful and vast nature can be with its beautiful landmarks scattered across the globe's beautiful dense rainforests, waterfalls, rivers. Everything that this world has to offer can be at a place of sanctity and peace for many. But for some, it's an escape. Not everyone's lives are sunshine and rainbows. Some are more filled with much more darkness, where most are using the outdoors and nature to add to their memories, while others are trying to get away from them. That's why here in this game, we are set out into the Wyoming wilderness, working for the Shoshone, I think, National Forest. You escape the hard and stressful world deep into the wilderness in hopes to be alone and find peace in nature. However, what is supposed to be a peaceful getaway for reflection becomes a much more complicated job, filled with questions that you need to ask yourself, not just yourself as the player, but you behind the screen. The only game I can be talking about is Before we get into this, all I want to ask from you guys is if you could like and subscribe, as it helps build the channel and hopes to build more content like this and others in the future. Let's cut the self-promotion in the app and venture deep into the Wyoming woods and settle off in our nice fancy tower. Our story begins in 1975. It starts with some dialogue where we meet Julia, or as the text says, it says we're drunk and with our absolute riz skills, we go up to her and says she's pretty. And it works, and well, we're dating the next week after. A little after, we cut into an underground parking garage where we chuck our backpack into the back of a boot, which doesn't seem the most secure option where we could put it in the passenger seat, but a little more dialogue appears and we go through the options, trying to be the most Sigma male ever for our Julia, picking the Shepherd Mayhem to protect us, and a little after talking about children. Then marrying Julia. Later transitioning into another scene at the entrance of a trail, we begin our hike. From here, we return to our dialogue options where the story will take a much more serious change compared to the much more lovey-dovey. Here the story takes a much more darker turn. Henry and Julia start arguing to each other. Despite their amazing chemistry at the beginning, later in life throughout the years, their relationship is taking a slow decline. Julia coming back home drunk. Instead of sitting there and not saying anything, we take it head on, and well, it ends up bad. We get mad at each other and go to bed, and well, that's that day. After finding out more lore about Julia and her drawing passion, where we ask her to draw us like, well, a human, which we'll see later. After this idea of kids is waylaid by work, as Julia is offered a job at Yale in Connecticut, we decide to let her pursue her dreams unless she comes to visit. From here we get drastic news. In 1985, while at Yale, she's sent home on paid leave after having an episode. We get deeper and find her crying. After asking multiple doctors, we discover that Julia might be suffering from early onset dementia at just 41. This happy couple, which later got married, who we believed originally had everything going for them, yes, a couple hiccups along the road, but overall they later overcome them. But it seemed over time another massive obstacle has blocked their path. And well, at this point, we don't really know if there is much hope for both of them. After cutting back to what it seems to our campsite, we get to look at our journal where, like I said, we would find this drawing that Julia made for us. Though after everything seems normal, Julia returns to Yale, and well, from here her affliction has only gotten worse. All her research she was conducting and simple things in class she could barely remember. It even states she'll drive to the next town over for no reason and be brought home by police, until later she's sent home on permanent medical leave. Here we're getting to sides now. A person who still seeks for Henry's love and affection, but other times who berates and harasses Henry, or just a total stranger. Henry finally tells Julia's family about this whole ordeal, and well, they don't take it well. Their family decide to visit from Australia to visit Julia, staying with her and her friends to help make things feel better. But despite it all, things can only get worse. 1988, we're given two options. After our hard work of taking care of Julia, we're asked to move her into either a full-time care facility or take care of her ourselves. This is more of a personal thing for me. I feel like, what would you do in the case of your lover or your family member? So I decided I would take care of them myself. Psych! We continue with some more dialogue. It's clear that our main character is distressed. The weight of burden of taking care of someone like this forever is draining them. When he gets frustrated at small things like her cooking, but he realized they both need each other to survive. Despite everything, you try to get time for yourself. You leave, head to a bar, and get the weight off your shoulders talking to a bartender. This becomes routine until you're stopped at a DUI checkpoint, blowing a .10 and being taken to jail. After this whole ordeal, Julia's parents come to get Julia and take her back to Australia, where they will take care of her. We don't even argue about this. Despite everything we've done, we just say nothing and let it happen until she's gone. A few weeks go by, summer is around the corner, and we see an ad for a job. We cut back to our world and this, our tower. After a long 2-day hike, we walk up the stairs to our new home, the Watchtower. Taking in the scenes and reminiscing of our past life, we entered our dark and boarded up tower. Immediately switching on the lights, we're immediately interrupted by a voice.
Hello, Two Forks Tower.
Don't take my job.
After grabbing our radio, we're introduced to Delilah, another one of the rangers in the watchtowers. Instead of friendly greetings, she immediately hits us with a big question.
So, what's wrong with you?
Excuse me?
People take this job to get away from something. So, what's wrong?
What's wrong with you?
That's a great idea. Go ahead.
Look, I just hiked for 2 days, so I don't really follow whatever it is you're doing right now.
You take a stab at what's wrong with me.
Fine, then can I...
With this question, we naturally argue with the lady on the radio, and hoping to just sleep after hiking for 2 days, we instead start playing this game, figure out what's wrong with each other and why we're out here. We take a knack at it and figure out she's a bit of a Bonnie Blue. After not wanting to continue this conversation, it takes an end, and we start day 1. Our first day begins on the typewriter. We grab our radio and start our first day. We talk about the basic responsibilities with Delilah and get a better grasp on this circle, which is actually our Osborne Firefinder, or really just a map. After explaining the map, we get caught up with Delilah in an annoyed tone. She tells us to look to the west side, but we then notice fireworks, and that is a big no-no in the forest, so we are immediately tasked to sort it out. After hiking for about a minute, we stumble upon a supply crate. We unlock it and get access to a rope, a granola bar, and more pine cones. We finally managed to get to our rope hook. Using our trusty rope we found and descending down, hoping nothing bad happens on this descent.
No!
After finding out I'm a tier-free big back, we finally find the camp and realize it's trash. Cleaning up all the beers and fireworks and saving the whiskey for myself, we push further in finding scattered clothes and our boy Henry becoming very uncomfortable and a little nervous.
I found a bra.
A nudie pyromaniac. Remain professional.
There are, panties.
They are what?
I don't want to say that word again.
Why, 'cause you're 12?
There's a... Ooh.
Yes?
There are 2 naked ladies out here.
Can you handle that?
Come on, I like naked ladies, same as anyone, but there's, you know...
2?
Yeah.
I know this will be tough for you, but try to pick your tongue up off the ground and do your job.
We realize it's 2 girls, naked girls in the water. We find the scallywag skinny dipping in the water. We tell them of their wrongdoing and leave them, and head back to our watchtower. We find another supply crate and find a flashlight inside. Later stumbling into a cave. Cave 452 with a lock. We're unable to do anything, we continue back up the mountain. After breaking our rope from earlier, we have to scale the entire mountain all the way back up until we see another person with a flashlight staring right at us. It's definitely a bit concerning for our first day, but we just ignore it and continue on. Unable to find the person, our big back breaks through yet another thing and we make it back into our tower. However, from here we notice our typewriter at the bottom of our tower and the window at the top of our tower, well, literally just broken. At least we still have our whiskey that we took, but overall, on our first day our tower has been trashed and we're unsure who could have done this. Just like that, we enter day 2. Sitting at our desk, we are again interrupted by our radio. Delilah informs us on a radio or phone line's not really working, and the closest person to check it out is, well, it's us. So we've been tasked to survey the communications lines north of the canyon. Naturally, we listen to Delilah, and before leaving, to decide and grab, press and inspect our bottle of whiskey just like it's CSGO. We continue on to the communication lines. We finally arrive at a cave and get into some interesting dialogue about Boulder and our past. From here, we begin to slowly open up more about Julia, our wife. It's not much, but we mentioned that Henry and Julia are taking time away from each other. Here, Delilah takes some time to herself to talk to someone else. However, the radio line is still being open, and we overhear everything that she's talking about. However, we don't know who she's talking to.
Heyo. I don't think so. Why, have you? Okay, good. No, I don't think he has any idea. I'm absolutely sure. Would you? Alright, I'll let you know if anything changes in that regard.
It's unclear what about, but instead of confronting her, we choose to listen in, hoping we can get something interesting out of it. She comes back and tells us to continue forward, and we get into a more deeper conversations about Julia and her condition. Slowly opening up to her, after more hiking, we arrive at an old cabin. We enter inside and realize the place has been burned down. There's not much except a burnt guitar, an old stove we dramatically open, old cigarettes, the tree poster, and a ruined fire finder. This small detail led me to believe this may have been an old lookout. We tried to ask Delilah, but with no response.
Anything I should know about the cabin at the top of this hill? Hello? Okay then.
Finally arriving at the communications line, we realize that the line has been cut by someone. With the subtle beer can and the panties on the wire, we can only assume it was the girls who we stole the whiskey from down at the river. We continue on to find the teens and confront of their wrongdoings once again. Hiking back down, finding a backpack hanging on a tree. Reaching deep inside, we find a disposable camera and a lot of rope we can use to finally climb down the mountains and hopefully support our big back weight. There's also a small detail about the bag saying Brian Goodwin. Delilah is shocked hearing this name, but tells us that he was a kid who was stationed at a lookout with his dad. However, so far, the reason his bag is there is still unclear, so for now we continue our hike to find the teens. Another thing we later notice is a massive fence. We can't explain what this fence is for, what's keeping it in or out, but it's a mystery for another day. We continue on discussing more about our wife and more of her dementia, letting Delilah gain more insight on our situation with Julia. Cutting the emotional talk short, we notice a thin smoke in the air. Assuming it's the teens, we go over fast to find them. Now, the next segment isn't anything specific, but it is special, at least to me. Hiking through the Wyoming mountain is honestly beautiful, but lighting and the subtle sounds of birds is really calming. The nature and this beautiful environment, especially when you add a beautiful guitar track, it adds to this feeling of getting away and wanting to be free, trying to find yourself in this massive mess. It weirdly reminds me of the Last of Us guitar songs that Ellie or Joel would play, but that's a whole different game. But that vibe in The Last of Us, playing the guitar, were important bonding moments for both Ellie and Joel. A moment for them to better understand each other and get closer with each other. Where here it's more of the opposite, a chance to look back on our life with Julia and reflect on how things were and if maybe we could have done more for her. After a long hike, we arrive at this beautiful waterfall and find a piece of fabric. Assuming it's the teens, we continue on finding their camp. We find our stolen sheets and take some more of their beers, then realize their tent seems to be destroyed. Torn clothes, ruined equipment, and a note blaming us for the whole ordeal. Blaming us for what happened to their campsite despite us having no involvement in this at all. Right now, we don't know what's going on. I look around assuming maybe someone might be watching. After seeing that guy on the mountain, there must be someone else out there. But for now, we continue on to the next day. We begin our day at the tower, repairing our window until Julia begins to ask what we look like. We throw a silly comment about Tom Cruise until she suggests that she'll try to draw us. Giving her some details about our face and body type like Julia's drawing, we might see this later. After we head down to find some more wood planks, and this might be the one rare moment I choose to speak during the game, and I said this. Oh god. Oh fucking poo. Poop. Peter, Lois, I'm pooping. After releasing my bowels and fixing the window, we have another chat asking what to do from here, but it seems there's nothing. And all we can do is just hike around the mountains, deal with any teens or any troublemakers, and wait. Skipping past about 6 days, sitting on a mountain, Delilah, interrupting this beautiful moment, tell me about the annoying teens who we had to deal with on day 1 have been apparently gone missing for the last 6 days. Delilah mentions maybe we say nothing to the police, but being smart, we mentioned that we should say something. And from there, that's it. We can end the call there and we enjoy the rest of the sunset, and our day ends once again. Skipping another 6 days later, we are suddenly woken up in the middle of the night by Delilah. Later to find out it's our wife, Julia.
Hey, you big dumb idiot.
Babe, it's late.
I know it is. You sound tired.
I am.
Are you having a nice time?
Sure. Are you? Everything good there? Jules?
What? Oh, sorry, Henry. Yeah, I'm good.
Oh, that's good.
Well, I'll let you get back to sleep then.
Okay, Jules.
Delilah seems nice.
Sure.
Bye, baby.
We have a short talk about how things are going out here in the Wyoming woods. Despite the conversation being with his literal wife, you would hope it would bring some more life and joy in his life, but instead, despite his tiredness, he sounds more fatigued of his own wife and wanted to get this conversation done and over with. Yes, I did choose this dialogue option, which was probably not the best option to be honest, but it still doesn't defeat the fact that Henry is most likely feeling more and more detached with Julia the longer he is out here. The next task here is to start hiking up north to retrieve supplies to resupply our tower. The basic necessities, food, water, climbing gear, whatever you need to survive for so long out here in the woods. We also get more details about Delilah's past, about her boyfriend Javier, looking more into her dreams and her passions and what she wanted to do. However, one thing left to another, and Javier's brother had passed away.
Javier's brother got killed working in Gillette, and for some reason, I didn't come home. Javier said it was fine. He'd go to the funeral, take care of his mom, stuff like that. It'd be easier solo. When he came back, he left me. I came out here, I lied, and told my sister he fucked our neighbor. I've just lied about it for over 10 years. And, for some reason, I wanted you to know.
This moment is honestly very surprising for us. This is probably the first time that Delilah has really opened up to us. And not to just anyone. We're just some stranger she's never met, and she's become so comfortable telling us something so personal about her life. We finally grab our supplies from the depot and hike back to our tower. In the deep of night, we exit our tower to see a fire in the distance. Thankfully, we're not tasked to do anything. All we can do is watch and leave it to the professionals. Delilah mentions the fire hasn't been named and gives us the reins. I decide to pursue this in a different anime harem method and try to use her name as the fire. While she immediately rejects this, but instead we use her middle name, June, which I guess works and is a win for us. We get into deeper conversations about things that she likes to do with tequila, where we once again try to riz Delilah. Again, where she pushes us down, but instead tells us to look at the fire. She talks about the fire, how in the middle of the day they're ugly, but at night, they're beautiful. A beautiful light that shines at night. The rest I won't explain, but I'll just let this clip do the talking.
Okay, I'm looking at it again.
I love how they look at night. During the day it's just smoke, but when the sun is down, you can just get lost.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're here.
Me too.
Good. I don't talk to the other lookouts as much as I talk to you. Not in the same way. I know it's probably been a while since you've connected with someone the way we have. I don't mean to get all heavy, but it's been really nice. I wish I was over there.
I wish you were too.
We could sit outside. We could talk without these radios. We could, you know.
What? What could we do?
Well, let me tell you. You're going fishing without a license?
It's one fish, and I'm sick of all the stuff I got to eat.
After an eventful night, we're immediately breaking the fishing code by fishing without our fishing license. Going down to the river where we'll catch some fish, we stumble upon even more whiskey and fireworks, which I'll be saving for mine and Delilah's personal radio talk. Finally arriving at the river, we find a clipboard sitting on a rock. Reading through it thoroughly and accidentally throwing away, we realize it's a written record of everything me and Delilah have been saying on the radios for the last 2 weeks.
Holy shit.
What's going on? You didn't actually find a bear, did you?
Someone has written down what we said to each other, have been saying.
That doesn't make any sense.
I don't talk to the other lookouts as much as I talk to you, not in the same way.
No way.
Wait, hold on. Something's out here.
We hear rustling behind us and go to investigate like a smart person would. We find a radio conveniently left on the ground until immediately after being struck in the back of the head and being knocked out. After a nice beauty sleep, we try to figure out what really happened to us and learn more about the clipboard, but both the radio and clipboard were stolen after being knocked out. We at least remember a detail, and that is Wapiti Station. Heading to Wapiti Station, gee, I'm so sorry, this is such a stupid name. It sounds like something out of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Wapiti Station. Anyway, we discuss more about the potential danger behind these logs and the possibility this person has been listening since we arrived. We finally arrive and find the fence, realize it's a massive enclosure. We try the gate to no avail, but being a reluctant and stubborn man, there's a method we could try that could get this door open. After that clearly not working, we try one more time. Clearly it doesn't work, so we use a rock. That also doesn't work. Instead, we go to the south, to the Ruby River, which is on the other side of the map. Ugh. Hiking through the canyon, we get another soundtrack, but something much more serious. With everything that happens in just the last 2 weeks and the realization of someone out here listening to us, there's a lot on the line. Not just Henry's and Delilah's jobs, but their relationship they've been building throughout the entire game so far. We try to see if anything is going on at Delilah's end, but so far there's nothing going on. We don't know exactly, but with the spare radio found earlier, we assume he's most likely tracking us and intercepting our frequency. We finally arrive at the scout camp and we see the massive damages from the fire. We continue further down southeast, finally finding the camp itself, and well, it's deserted. Delilah mentioned earlier that there could be some firefighters down there who could help us, but there's not a person in sight. We did do some searching around some of these old broken cabins until we find something that made this game actually more peak and made me appreciate it even more. After finding that peak and finding this convenient fire axe wedged inside a tree and a memo that refers to Wapiti Station, the place we tried to break into, and discover there's a research site out in the forest, possibly researching us and our conversations on how we'll act. The next step, absolutely destroy these branches and trees and make a long hike all the way back to Wapiti Station. As we're going back, Delilah starts talking to us. She tries to give us a plan on how we can approach the Wapiti Station and everything that's going on, until our conversation is interrupted.
See anybody?
No, definitely not.
All right, so tell me what you think of this. Did you just cough?
No. Did you just cough?
No.
Oh, fuck.
Fuck.
This moment we realize someone has really tapped our radios, and instead of going to Wapiti Station, we leave it and return back to our watchtower, and that is ending this day.
You.
Next day, back in our tower, after Delilah not responding for a while, she responds in a much more jolly tone and tells us to look at our shown poster. I probably absolutely butchered that name. Tells us to look at a tree and take a hike to that tree. Finally, Henry actually realizes what Delilah's trying to do, and we make our way top to Cottonwood Creek. We arrive at this cache box and find a brand new radio. We dump the old and grab our new, a freshly not tapped radio. From here we start going back to Wapiti Station to break into the possible research site. We begin to argue about our radios getting tapped. Other lookouts in the area seem to be fine, and this whole ordeal is only happening to us. So this problem is only for us to solve alone. We also later find out Delilah making that police report about the missing teens, and she completely lied.
Hey, I just thought of something not great.
What is it?
I filed a report that said that neither of us ever talked to or saw those girls, the ones that went missing a few weeks back.
Oh, shit.
My thoughts exactly.
Our radios were tapped. And now someone probably has a transcript of that entire conversation.
And I've filed a report that's a blatant lie.
Oh, and those girls are still missing.
Yep.
Fuck, Delilah.
Fuck indeed. We really need to get to the bottom of this.
Finally, arriving back at the gate, with our trusty stolen axe in hand, we break through the gates and traverse down the hill. We get stung by a bee and beg for Delilah to comfort us with some ASMR to no avail.
I got stung by a bee.
Okay. Is that it?
Yeah.
Did it hurt?
Yes, kind of.
Later, getting deeper down, we find what seems to be a monitoring tower. But we take a photo first because this looks kind of good here. Getting further down, we find a bigger camp with a soil grid, more monitoring towers, and a tent that holds large numbers of supplies, and a hard case that has a wave receiver. We turn around and find our first thing, a black box. We find out whoever is using this research site has a file of both Henry and Delilah. Quickly going over both files, Henry being 39. His observation traits being guilt-ridden, susceptible to influence, unsure of self, and reliable. Despite the first three, he seems fine until we look at the overview and mentions that we have fully engaged supervisor, and trust has been scientifically proven. However, it suggests we might be aware of the test, and our susceptibility to manipulation is at a high, being 9. We also get to look at Delilah's, which has a significant difference to Henry's. Delilah is 43, her personality traits being reliable, observant, charismatic, selfish, and skewed perception of personal history. It also meant ability to manipulation being at a 3. This discovery does leave some questions, especially with the difference in files for both our characters. Firstly, why does Henry have this subject overview but nothing for Delilah? It mentions that the subject has full engaged supervisor. Now, is Delilah the supervisor here? She's been the only one we've talked to during this entire time. However, our trust yet to be scientifically proven. There's a chance possibly Delilah is on this whole scheme, playing a part in this experiment and how Henry might act under these intense situations. Plus, when you tie it to his marriage and difficulties in taking care of his wife, finding someone who's easy and fun to talk to, a person who's honestly could be representing his wife's, someone he could easily open up to and maybe even fall for, and easily be told what to do, which could be the reason for his high susceptibility to manipulation. For now, we can't really make too much assumptions right now because this could just be nothing, but for now we will continue forward. We informed Delilah about the assessments we found. Delilah in this moment does seem desperate in a way to know what the file says, which leads back to what I was saying before. Maybe she doesn't want her cover blown.
It says that you and your boyfriend are still together.
What? We're not. They're messing with us.
Yeah, okay.
They are. How do they even know who he is? How the hell does this... I'm so sick of letting these people do this to us. We should just burn the place down. Think about it.
Look, maybe that's what they want us to do.
What do you mean?
Maybe they're trying to push us to the point where we do something crazy. I mean, the grass is dry as hell here. It would go up in a second.
Well, now I'm thinking, what if you're right?
I just don't think we should do anything that we can't undo.
Well, maybe it's not the best idea.
Delilah's opinion to burn the place down is immediately debunked by us, to some smart thinking by myself. From here, we calm her down and decide to head back to our lookout to end that day. Typing on our typewriter, we get a signal on our wave receiver. We inform Delilah and decide to head out to the location and see what's causing the frequency. During this time, we find out Delilah is drinking heavy. While we're doing the heavy work, she's downing a bottle of tequila while she literally starts becoming that one girl from the Marvel Rivals drama.
Hey, D, I don't want to harsh your vibe, but maybe, just maybe, that's a bad idea.
Henry.
What?
You're harshing my vibe.
We continue to head down to the area to find the signal is behind these bushes. Breaking through, we find a backpack and an alarm. We immediately break it. We examine the bag and find a key on the side for cave 452, the cave we found earlier in our playthrough. We informed Delilah about what we found in the key and the cave in the canyon. From here, I'm just gonna let the clip play a little.
The fire hasn't spooked, and we have new walkie-talkies, so we have the upper hand.
Yeah, well, it's hard to feel like you have the upper hand when you're standing in the dark in the middle of the woods.
Oh. Well, you're back in your tower. Maybe you need a drink, too.
I'm not in my tower.
I am looking at a man standing in your lookout. And it's not you?
It is not me.
Oh my god, go.
I'm going.
After Delilah telling us someone is in our tower, we immediately rush back to this convenient shortcut. We cut down this tree only to glitch into this weird area. So far, I literally couldn't do anything. I could stand on the sides of these these rocks, but I couldn't jump around. I couldn't do anything. So, unfortunately, I just had to restart. Returning to the tree and making our way up the tower, we find a taped Walkman with headphones and listen in.
It's a tape of us talking down at the site. It sounds like it was recorded from somewhere nearby.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, and it sounds like we were the ones who burned it down and that it was your idea.
No.
We are screwed.
No!
Dee, just don't freak out, okay? Don't freak out.
Oh my god, what the fuck is happening, Henry?
The audio is from yesterday, about Delilah's outburst and wanting to burn the whole forest down. Clearly having our radios tapped again, it's obvious that this person behind the messages is threatening to release this and possibly make us lose our jobs and even go to prison. From here, Delilah has a full breakdown, and all we can do is comfort her and end the day.
It's
The next day, we're listening back to the audio hoping to find something in between until Delilah radios us and gives us a report about someone playing us, about the potential fire and possibly another lookout suspecting Delilah of causing the fire that's going on now. From here, time is against us. We need to explore the cave and figure out what is locked in there and who is trying to take us there. While going down, Delilah is freaking out about the teens, lying to the cops and the fire that sounds like she caused. However, in the end, thankfully, they were found and there is no problems on that end. They were found, thankfully. However, we do reassure her on all the other stuff and we let her know that we'll be fine and the line will take care of everything. We finally arrive at the cave, pushing the key and enter inside. After walking for literally 5 seconds, the door behind us is closed and locked. We need to find another way to escape. Using our handy trick at Walkie Station clearly not working, we do some quick parkour and looking down to see a shoe. Being an absolute sneakerhead, we can tell this is one of the OG Jordans that sell for around $200 to $300 on StockX, as long as we can find the next shoe. Pushing through some rocks and more climbing, we find a light and exit, informing Delilah of what happened until we stumble on a fortress. It looked like we found Brian Goodman's fort, scattered with school folders, homework, schematics, his handmade sign, a painted fortress wall, a letter about being with his dad out here in the Wyoming woods, and the most important thing, a bundle of pitons, which can be used to wedge in between rocks to make our own ropes. We loop back to the cave, unlock it again, and find a crack and make our way down deeper into the cave, where we hope to find that second Jordan to turn a profit. Exploring a little further, getting deeper and deeper, we see him.
Ah, shit. Are you... Oh, God. Your stuff gave out. You're Brian Goodwin.
With everything that just happened, all the mysteries and confessions had led us here. Brian Goodwin. Judging by what happened, it looked like his equipment broke and he fell all the way down here unable to get out. Forever trapped, with his head buried in rocks and his legs broken. This is very hard hitting, especially with all the letters and gear surrounded in the mountains of Brian Goodwin, a kid who was just out in the forest with his dad, enjoying himself, has later been found in the bottom of a cave 452, locked away for who knows how long until now. We finally make it out the cave and radio in Delilah to inform her we found a body and will need a rescue team for Brian Goodwin.
Hey, D.
There you are. I've been worrying my ass off.
You need to call search and rescue.
What?
There's a body in the cave. It's Brian Goodwin.
You gotta be fucking kidding me. How does that... What? I don't... How?
Climbing, I think, or made to look like a climbing accident.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I think that's just what it was. I mean, he was probably exploring the cave and maybe his rope gave out. But whoever locked me in there probably didn't even know about him. I'm sorry, Delilah. I'm so sorry.
He'd be alive if I had told someone he was out here. I don't know where he'd be, but I can assure you it would not be rotting at the bottom of that cave. There's nothing to say. Hike back. I think we're leaving tomorrow anyway.
This is it, the last day. I didn't explain before, but due to the fire we saw earlier, it's getting out of control. We need to evacuate the Wyoming woods and hike to Delilah's lookout to get evacuated by a helicopter. From here, we need to pack our things. However, something that may be interested when packing was the things he left on the ground, like his wedding ring. You would expect it to be on all the time, but here it's been taken off. We have the option to leave it, but we do take it. It could be nothing, but maybe Henry taking his ring off and not having it on all this time on the job could mean maybe he lost his feelings for Julia and wants to take a risk with Delilah. Later, while packing and waiting for the helicopter, Delilah mentions we should follow the signal on the way receiver. An interesting thing to place in and brush off. This immediately made me think back to Delilah as being the supervisor and ensuring we don't meet up with her later. We grab our final things, a picture of us, and most importantly, our whiskey, and set off to find this final signal. We finally reach the signal and find another cassette tape, and we give it a listen while we follow the rope.
Someone left a rope for me to climb up. I'm down near the lake.
How do you know it's for you?
There's a tracking collar tied to it. Someone was leading me here. And there's another tape.
Yeah, hi, Henry. Hey, you better find this before it burns up. We've been causing each other a lot of headaches. Now I gotta go stake out a site that's as fit for living as the one you're about to find. You'll get it when you see it. You can't blame me for keeping an eye on you. Not after bumping into you back in May. Down by the cave, for croc's sake. I've been up here for 3 years. I kept it cozy. Winters are harsh as hell, and I ran out of books. But I got that antenna rigged up, and Delilah, she's a record you don't gotta flip. I kinda get why Brian took to her. About a week ago, I stopped worrying about you finding anything out, and that's right when everything went shithouse with you two. You guys don't know anything about having kids. All right, nobody knows nothing. It ain't Andy and Opie walking down a lake to fish every afternoon. It ain't Mayberry. But you gotta know I didn't kill him. All right, we were climbing. I was teaching him. Brian was uneducated in the way to do anything. He just fucking didn't sink his anchor the right way. You know, I thought about going back, having to answer questions, and having to get him put in the ground, and I didn't see the point. Don't come looking for me. Sorry about your wife.
We discover that Goodwin has been listening to us this entire time. Till May and throughout this entire ordeal, he's been trying to push us off the trail of finding his son. This hideout is packed with radio generators, a number of notes that talk about Henry and Delilah's interactions, same paperwork from the research lab, and his own radio log he wrote down and kept. Keeping track of our conversations, this is where the mastermind was all along. So close to our watchtower, and yet we couldn't see him at all. We relay it back to Delilah, who shows zero interest, unsure of what to say, and urges us to get to the lookout and get on a helicopter and leave. We finally leave the bunker and make our way to Delilah lookout all the way up north. We talk more about Brian's situation. Delilah being extremely guilty and angry at Ned for not properly taking care of his son Brian, and leaving him to die. Delilah, with the guilt of not being able to tell the truth, becomes more and more uneasy, and she becomes annoyed at herself. The conversation is cut short when the helicopter finally arrives mid-talk.
Oh, fuck.
Is that a helicopter?
Yeah, hold on. Hey. No, there's one more. Yes, here, yeah. Yeah, he's coming. Okay, 1 second. Hey, they're here, but they're making rounds. They'll come back. I think I'm gonna go with them.
Wait, just wait, okay? I'm not that far.
Henry, they're here. They're waiting right now.
Please.
Henry, I don't want to meet you and just sit here in a dead boy's shadow. Okay, I don't want to do that. I know that sounds harsh. Okay, I'll wait.
I'm not far.
Okay.
We beg her to wait in hopes we can see her once after the 79 days of back and forth conversations and this situation that we've been going through. After convincing her, she reluctantly agrees to wait for us, and we continue our hike to her watchtower. Here we get another soundtrack while hiking, and we also find a dead deer along the way with a tracking collar. It could be also related to a research lab we found, but I can't 100% fully confirm despite our files being there. From here, there is a lot of anticipation, a rush of emotions. In this final moment, we can finally see Delilah, but is it the right thing? Despite everything we've just been through, all the good and the bads, with both Brian and Ned Goodwin, the teens going missing, the hidden research lab and Wapiti Station, there's so much here. We started this journey in hopes to escape from it all, but instead found ourselves in a much deeper mess. Not just questioning ourselves, but the person on the other side of the radio. Being alone and isolated can be great for some, but over time it drains you, and well, it gets to the point where there's nothing you can do but look for anything or anyone, especially with Henry's screw-ups and his wife Julia's condition, and this trustworthy bond both him and Delilah made during their time it's something beautiful but sad, and this music gives me this feeling of, well, desperation, and there's not much hope left for these two. And despite when they do finally get to me at the tower, Henry's past and Delilah's screw-ups and lies will be hard to really break those walls down to start something fresh. And for Delilah, she's done. She wants to leave and get out of here. But Henry, he wants to try and find that same connection he once had with Julia. We finally arrive at the cable car and pull ourselves across, finally arriving at Delilah's tower. And her location is really nice. We snap our last photo and head upstairs into the tower, finally getting ready to meet Delilah. However, she's nowhere to be found. The devastating realization that the person we've been talking to for so long, the person that kept us sane and whole, this whole ordeal has disappeared and left in a helicopter. We see your pair of headphones and a radio. We pick up the headset and get to talk to Delilah one last time.
Hello? Is anybody there?
Hi. Yeah, it's me.
You're not here.
No. Don't be mad.
I'm not.
I just couldn't be out there for another minute.
I get it.
You do?
I think so.
Hey, it shouldn't take long for the helicopter to reach you.
Okay.
There's a debrief in a situation like this. Lots of questions.
Shit. So, taking stock, we found out an old lookout killed his only son and decided to become a lonely hermit.
Yes.
And we prevented one fire?
Basically started another.
Okay, so that's a wash.
Oh, I'll have to figure out what I'm doing every summer from now on that isn't this.
You're not coming back?
No. And you'll have to... I don't know.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know what's next.
Tell you what, why don't you choose for me and I'll choose for you?
All right, sure. Maybe you could come back to Boulder with me and figure it out down there. Just a thought.
You don't want me down there.
Well, I just asked you.
Look, I've got some things to do in Casper, and maybe I'll head south sometime after that. I could come by, sure.
Okay. So, what about me?
I think you should go to Julia, and then you can figure it out. Maybe put that typewriter to good use. Give me a sexy accent or something if you write about this.
Yeah.
You gotta go see her.
Would you?
Henry, Look, you came out to put your memories behind you, and they're still right there in front of you.
She won't even recognize me, Delilah.
You're not just going for her.
You don't know what it's like.
Bad things happen, okay? And you have to find a way to contain the damage. A good way.
Well, hopefully I can figure out a way to do that.
Yeah, I hope so.
God, this got dark.
Oh shit. Sorry.
There's the helicopter.
Good. They'll land back where you hiked up. luck, Henry.
Thanks, Delilah. I appreciate it.
I mean it. Okay, good luck.
Thanks.
Bye, Hank.
We see the helicopter out the window. We take Delilah's tequila and the photo of Henry. We finally get to the helicopter and successfully evacuate alone. Now, this story was something else. Playing this game was a fun but short experience. Something I've realized throughout the game was, well, what it stands for. We have our mystery, our cheeky romance and adventures throughout the Wyoming woods, but realistically this game tackles this feeling of humans. How we humans deal with grief in our lives. It never specifically tries to directly say it in your face, but it hides it throughout the beginning of the game, the dialogue between you and Delilah, and the ending. In life, humans all have their ways to deal with our problems. The outdoors is one way to maybe find inspiration or a fitness goal. In our story, it's a method of escape, in hopes we can leave our past behind for just a little, while in hopes to forget. Despite Henry trying to deal with everything himself, it's gotten to the point where he himself has given up. His solution was to get away from it all. At the beginning, where Henry needs Julia and Julia needs Henry, it plays the exact same role here. This bond they built from day 1 to day 79 throughout these 2 to 3 months, they've created a deep bond for each other. Two people isolated, wanted to keep away from everything. Very simple or deep talks on the radio was what allowed them to keep going. It allowed them to rely on each other and depend on each other despite everything that's happened with the mystery of the Goodwins. Especially when we look more into Julia and Henry's relationship, having Henry newly talking about her all the time, to a point where Henry never talks about her. Henry can't do anything without Delilah, and Delilah can't do anything about Henry. The ending, we don't find Delilah, which is extremely heartbreaking, not just for Henry but the player. Delilah mentions in the dialogue we need to go see Julia despite us assuming we can't make it work. She tells us it's not just for us but for everyone else. These 2 to 3 months has given us a time to escape. A chance to escape from our problems, but with the result of Delilah not wanting to see us at the end gives us the hard truth most of us can't face, and it's just being able to face our problems head on. This Firewatch was only a moment in time where everything was frozen, where we could escape, but now we're left and forced to return to our life. Behind the ending was to subvert the traditional video games genres and stereotypes, but to look deeper into themes of human connection and how all of us have fuck ups, and at times trying to run away from our problems will never usually help, but it only makes it worse, and the solution is to face it head on and find a solution no matter how hard or how long it takes. It's a hard-hitting message that many players can't handle, but it's a hard-hitting truth and a lesson everyone who plays this game should learn. Thank you boys for watching. This is probably my longest video I think I've made. I didn't think it would be. This game, it's like really old. I doubt it'll get any views, but I don't really care. This is a game I just really enjoyed. I just want to make a video about because it just really just connected with me with how such a short game I played in just 3 hours can hold and provide such a deep, meaningful message. But anyways, boys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. It helps the channel, and also let me know that you guys like these videos and you want more. But anyways, that's been me. Talk to you boys later, and peace.
I need some dick just to feel the pain. BBC, oh, I'm not ashamed. I need you, yeah, come on my face and ask me, yeah, how it tastes.